Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Okinawa and have a look at another beer from there. And this is my first try of anything from this brewery. So we're going to go to the southern part of the island and have a taste of a beer from Nanto Brewery, who sell their beers under the name Nihede beer. Now this one is the Hard, which comes in at 5% and it's a German style Altbier. They do have one called Soft as well, which is a Kölsch beer. The Altbier and the Kölsch are actually very popular styles in Japan. Many of the little G beer breweries actually copy this style and do it locally, but they also have the Okinawa IPA and a black beer as well, but I haven't tried any of those. This is my very first taste of something from Nihede beer, so hopefully it's a good one. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Nihede beer. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media, make sure you check that out. If you're particularly interested in Japanese beer reviews, go into the channel homepage and simply search Japan. The whole channel is set up on geography, so you can do that for any country, city or state, whatever, you will find them. And if you do want to see more of my reviews, do consider subscribing to the channel. You can also check out Casey and Eric at Sotogami Akihabara, who specialise in reviewing Japanese beers. They've got some really nice videos, so make sure you check them out. Really nice little channel. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Nihede beer. So Nihede beer is part of Nanto Syuzo, part of the Nanto Corporation, and these guys are located in the centre of Okinawa World Tourism Facility, which is on the southern part of the island. I think it's somewhere to the east of Nihede, kind of to the southeast of the city, but they produce wine awamori, which is a local variant, I believe, of shochu. Quite strong, and it made me sick when I tried it, so I don't think I'll be trying it again. They also produce the beers under the name Nihede beer, and they've got some liqueurs as well. They have a coffee liqueur, and I do think they actually maybe have some of their own coffee mixes and things like that that you can drink as well. But a fairly big company. I think beer is one of their kind of sidearms, if you like. But the brewmaster at the brewery is Ganaha Saigo, who joined the company back in 2000. Apparently in the early days, and it was just after Ganaha joined the company, they actually bought a used brew kit, and the thing was, the previous owner had actually gotten rid of this one because he couldn't sanitize it properly, and many of his beers were becoming infected. So this created a great problem for the brewery at the start when they were just opening up. But they've actually gone on to win quite a few medals for their beers now, and Ganaha, of course, is actually very adamant about the sanitisation and things of his beer now. He's very adamant that his brewing equipment is spotlessly clean. But the name of the beer apparently is a play on the Okinawan word for thank you, and they're also very proud of their water source, which is from the Gyoku Sendo limestone cave, which is supposed to be one of the top 100 water sources in Japan. A lot of breweries, sake breweries and also beer breweries, like to talk about their water source, and they also they really like to talk about where their water comes from, because it was a big deal when it comes to sake brewing, and of course they continue that when it comes to beer brewing, which is pretty cool actually. And there's a lot of Japan, the countryside in Japan is absolutely beautiful, so it's always cool to go and see some of the little places like this. So yeah, that's enough about Nihede beer and Nanto Brewery for just now. We'll get on to the tasting. The other beers, as I mentioned to you, that you can get from these guys are the Okinawa IPA, the Hard, which is the Altbier, this one here, the Soft, which is a Kölsch style, and they also have the Black beer, which was intended as a seasonal beer but proved very popular, so they kept it on. So yeah, let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer then. So like I mentioned to you, it's a 5% Altbier. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one, and there you can see it's got a nice kind of drag on it. I think they're doing some work outside, they're just banging around on some railings, but you can see it has the little ship down here, which is the symbol of Nihede beer. As you can see, Nanto Brewery. It says on the top here in katakana, that means it's Haado Typu. So yeah, it just basically means hard type beer, which in this case means German style Altbier. You can see plain bottle cap on this one. So let's get it out and into the glass then. Looking forward to trying this one. So yeah, as you can see, bit of a smoky opening on this guy, and we'll get it out and into the glass. As I was saying to you though, the Altbiers and the Kölsches, they seem to be a very popular style of beer in Japan. I think a lot of Japanese people who have trained in beer brewing have actually gone to Germany, and that's probably why these styles of beer are quite popular. But the thing that you notice with them is that the flavours, the components of the flavour that you expect from the style are all there, but they're just a bit toned down. And I mean, if you try Japanese food, it's all about how the flavours blend together rather than being quite punchy in one regard, and you can see that when you try these Japanese variants of the German style beers. But as you can see, this beer is poured a nice kind of coppery amber bronze colour. There was a half finger of a frothy, slightly beigey tan head on this one. That's just faded away to be a very thin foamy layer. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. It looks really quite nice actually. If I put my fingers behind it, you can see it's not really transparent. This one is quite an opaque beer. So let's have a closer look at the aroma then. Yeah, so with this one, the main component of the aroma is actually the sort of toasty, bready character. You can really get that out of this one. It really is quite toasty, sort of caramel and biscuity malts that you're getting out of this one. There's a little bit of earthy hop. You can pick up some of the German noble character, and there's some kind of red, slightly fruity things. I always talk about the Haribo sweets, and you can actually pick that up from this beer. You really can get that in this one. The fruity esters just come on the back end, but it's got quite a dark, toasted caramel, brown sugar thing going on in this one. Yeah, if I sugar it up a little bit, there's some floral and grassy character in there. The noble hops, the little earthiness, and then the more floral and grassy thing is coming out of this beer. Then it's caramel, biscuit, and a bit of bread. You know, it has everything you'd expect of the style. But yeah, it does smell quite nice. So take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you actually try this beer for yourself, but we'll get stuck into this guy now. So this one is the hard beer from Nihede beer, part of Nanto brewery in Okinawa, Japan. Kanpai. Now, that doesn't taste like any Altbier that I've ever tried before. I have to say that straight up. This one reminds me more of an English kind of bitter beer or something like that. Yeah, you know, the beer is drinkable. I'll say that. It's more like a kind of dark bready thing. It really does remind me more of a bitter than a Dusseldorf sort of, than that kind of Dusseldorf Altbier. The Dusseldorf Altbier is always dark and malty. They have got that side of it right, but this one doesn't have the kind of noble hop character and the fruitiness that you expect of the style. It really, this one reminds me a bit more of a bitter or something like that. Yeah, so the middle of your palate, you've got a sort of bready base to this one. It does remind me of the English beers a bit, but at the same time it does have a little element of that kind of German rye bread flavour. That goes right across the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you can get some of these kind of grainy, biscuity things going on. And then there's some sweeter biscuit and caramel coming out of the beer as well. But yeah, it's quite dark, and the cereal characters really make me think this is a bit more of a bitter than an Altbier. It has some earthy hop at the back corners of the palate, then some of the floral grassiness. Like, all of the flavours are just there, but it's really, all of the flavours that you kind of expect of the Dusseldorf Altbier, they are there, but they're very subtle in comparison to what I would want. So this one, the darkness of the caramel and the cereal things, it really does make me think English bitter a bit more than it does Altbier. Yeah, I mean, it really is more bready. It really is more kind of rye bread, sort of cereal things. For me, it doesn't remind me of the Altbiers that I've drank in Germany, this one. You know, there are very light elements of the flavour there. If you go behind the front curve of the tongue, you get a little bit of that sort of candied fruit ester. Yes, around the front curve of the palate, you can get some grassy, sort of floral things going on with the noble hops, and the earthiness is in the back corners of the palate too. But it's just not the same quality of beer that you can get from Germany. And I mean, that's hard, you know, it's a hard thing to do obviously, but there are breweries in Japan who have beers that you could blind taste and think that's a German beer. This one you couldn't blind taste and say that's a German beer. You would think this is some kind of like English beer or something like that. You know, I know the style, I know what my I know what I kind of should pick up. I know what to look for from this one. So that's why I can pick up the fact that these little elements of the flavour are there, but they are very mild. Someone who maybe kind of doesn't have the same palate as me, or as experienced a palate as me, without blowing my own horn of course, maybe they wouldn't recognise that this is an Altbier. You know, the German ones are just so much stronger in the flavour than this one is. This one is just the main components of the flavour. It's the dark caramel. It's the dark, quite toasted caramel actually. You will notice that with this beer. It's dark and it's toasted, and the breadiness is there. There is a little bit of hoppiness, but you know, picking out the grassiness and the earthiness and particularly the fruity character that you expect as well, that is all very mild in this one. You would, if you were blind tasting this, you would think this is more of a bitter kind of caramel beer. It really does lean towards that bready sort of malty side of things. I'm actually getting quite a bit of gas from this one as well. I think it's maybe slightly over carbonated. But I mean, that said, it is fairly drinkable, but if it's going to be marketed as an Altbier, it needs to be a bit better than it is, unfortunately. That's the thing with this beer. So, I mean, it's drinkable, it's okay, but I have tried, you know, living in Germany, I know what an Altbier should be. This one doesn't really hit the spot for me in that regard. And there's a couple of, you know, there are breweries in Japan who copy these German styles and don't really hit the mark with them. I would be interested to try the other beers before I kind of close my mind on this brewery a little bit. But for me, this one doesn't really hit the spot as an Altbier. If you like the English bitters, you'll probably enjoy this beer. You know, if you want a bready, kind of toasted, caramelly sort of thing, you probably will enjoy this beer. So give it a go and see what you think for yourself. I always try to just say, if you like this style of beer, then you'll enjoy this one. But for me, it doesn't quite hit the mark as a Dusseldorf Altbier. In terms of the mouthfeel, I'd say this guy is mid-bodied, maybe lighter bodied a bit. The carbonation is quite crisp, but overall it does have a little bit of oily character to it. Mainly it's leaning towards the side of the malts. There is some sweetness there, but it's quite roasted as well. There's a little bit of hoppy dryness to the beer too, and just a teeny bit of fruity character behind the front of the tongue. As you move into the aftertaste, the beer does become a little bit more dry, but overall, like I said, it is drinkable. It's got a nice, the malty sweetness can be quite nice once your palate adjusts, but in terms of a Dusseldorf Altbier, it doesn't really hit the mark for me in comparison to what I've had before. And there are some breweries in Japan that their beers are kind of like that. The flavours are all there, but they're very subtle. If you want a strong Altbier, go for something from Germany. This one won't satisfy you in that regard. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Hopefully the guys aren't working outside the next one I film. But thank you once again for watching. Just let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery in the comment section below. Make sure you check out Casey and Eric's channel, and do check out all my social media. So this one is the hard type from Nihede beer, part of Nanto brewery in Okinawa in Japan. Hopefully I can review one of their other beers. I heard the black beer is good and the IPA is good, so I'll maybe try one of those next time. But Slanger just now, thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you soon. Go and try this beer for yourself and see what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Cheers.